Oh, hi.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is CKTCHAOTIC. Today we are continuing on the Remarried Empress and we're reading episode 49, 50, and 51. Let's get started! Recap time. Okay guys, I'm gonna do my best to kind of like recap the past few episodes from I believe 46 to 48 that we read, and let me tell you, it was messy. One thing we know for sure is that Rashta is very conniving. She's really good at puppeting people. And for example, and a refresher is how she got the freaking Duke and Duchess of Twania to divorce. Okay, and I don't know what happened, how she even got like what his name, Viscount Landre to stab her, but he ended up getting like shooed out of the palace. He is banned from being with civilized people, civilization, that's a word. So here she knows that eventually the emperor will not be in favor of her anymore. Like he will not be interested in her anymore in after a few years or so. And he will get bored of her. So she is trying to secure her place right now. And by doing so, she is trying her best to get rid of her enemies. And it's starting off by the Empress brother. Of course, we witnessed an altercation. It is literally just the Empress brother just yelling at her like, hey, you need to shut your pie hole. But this girl go to the emperor and said, no, like that's not what happened. He pushed me, not a shove, but pushed me. This is causing the emperor to truly kind of like believe her and said, you know what, he is out. He is not allowed to be in the palace anymore. So yes, the empress brother got kicked out. I need to learn his name. I keep forgetting how to pronounce it. But yeah, so now the empress is trying to reach out to the emperor to kind of like talk things out. And he been avoiding her. Now she's kind of get to the point where like she is kind of like not desperate, but she really needs to talk to him. Of course, she ended up waiting, and that's something that she never done. Like she never waits for someone to come out and speak to her. So here is where the very last panel of the episode 48, and he is just like, you know what, I need to carry out a thorough investigation if your brother was really the one behind this. So in a sense, it feels like he doesn't believe Rashta fully, but in a way, like, he's trying to give her some credit here. So let's see. Let's get started. That woman servants and the palace chef were all fired. Have you heard anything about them catching the culprit? No. I see. Why isn't he announcing who the culprit is right away? Is he trying to make me feel guilty so I can't do anything to Rashta? To find the answer, I need to find the truth. But how did Sovieshu know that an abortion drug was mixed into Rashta's food? If Rashta wasn't even aware of it, then it must have been a drug that was invisible to the naked eye. The Remarried Empress, episode 49. An abortion drug was found in Rashta's food, so I've heard someone committed a terrible crime. Huh? Could the person behind the terrible crime be someone I know? Well, almost all the nobles, so it could possibly end up being someone you know. So are you saying a noble did it? A servant would have no reason to do something like that. The potatoes are a bit salty. Mm. Yeah, I can relate to that. It really scares me when you stare at me like that because you look so much like Corsair. Intimidated. Marquise Falhon, tell me, is this really something I don't need to worry about? Corsair. I need to remember Empress brother's name. Corsair. Can't you just turn a blind eye? Did my brother put you up to this? Uh, His Majesty thinks my brother did this. Do you still think this is something I don't need to worry about? Mm. Don't worry, Your Majesty. Nobody will ever be able to find decisive evidence. So you got rid of the evidence. It's difficult to get rid of the evidence that I bought the medicine. It's a very expensive drug that's only sold in a handful of places. But I can fabricate evidence so it looks like someone else took the drug. Marquise, it's important that you don't get caught, but it's also concerning that people close to me really did something like that. Your Majesty, where there is light, there is also shadow. Don't tell me that this was necessary because I know it wasn't. Corsair is morally bankrupt. There's no question about it. But you want me to understand because he did it for me? I think you shouldn't probe the darkness for answers. It's not your place to say what I should or shouldn't do. And I don't want the abortion drug to be used. Thus, the new king of the Western Kingdom, His Majesty Henry, I request that many distinguished guests from the Eastern Empire grace us with their presence at his coronation. None of them are familiar to me. I need to tell Prince Henry that I don't think I can make it to his coronation. Deliver this message to Henry. We appreciate the invitation, but the Empress of the Eastern Empire is very busy with her duties and needed at court, so she cannot personally undertake such a long journey. Huh? Did Prince Henry ask me to attend? I'll send Grand Duke Ryland Roth of Winchester as the head of our delegation. You may go now. Have you still not finished investigating the abortion drug incident? Wasn't this letter too heavy for you? Although you did not give me a definite answer, I know you would have said no if you couldn't attend. Can I look forward to your presence? The thought of seeing you again fills me with great joy. Oh, look at the bird. He is thirsty. It would have been better if Prince Henry had been able to read between the lines of my previous response. Crap. Still, it's a good thing he sent me the bird again. I have some urgent matters to attend to around that time, and it is a long distance to travel, so I'm afraid I will be unable to attend your coronation. I can only offer you my sincere congratulations. What's wrong? Huh? Oh, delivering bad news. There's no use worrying about what to do. I'll have to swallow my pride no matter what I choose to do. Have you finished your investigation? I have. What Your Majesty said, you don't have to say any more. I thought you wanted an apology. I only said it in the heat of the moment. Because Rashta was ill? Why in the world are you bringing Rashta up now? I'll bury this incident in order to protect you. But if something like this happened again, then just keep in mind that I would choose to protect my child. I understand. I know that you are wise enough not to make the same mistake twice. I'll trust you. It's kind of odd. Like, he does care, but it's in a way, like, he does stuff to provoke her. To see if she does love him. I don't know. It's weird. This is weird. Okay. Chris.
Your Majesty?
Did I wake you up?
Yes, but it's alright. I'm happy that Your Majesty's face was the first thing I saw when I woke up.
How are you feeling? Are you in any pain?
For the past few days, my chest throbbed, my stomach hurts, and my back was sore. I thought they were pregnancy symptoms, but I guess it must have been because I ingested an abortion drug. I think it must have been a very strong drug, as my stomach still hurts a bit. Your Majesty?
I think I know who tried to kill me and my baby. Who do you think it is?
I'm not going to say who. I think they did it because they were backed into a corner. But Your Majesty, regardless of who the culprit is, you must protect our child. Promise me.
To be continued. Ugh. It will take a while for the rumors to completely disappear. There's a serious shortage of mages. Mages are what sustain the power of the Eastern Empire. Huh? Menacing.
Oh.
Look at it. So, aren't you even going to welcome me back? You get 10 extra days off. Well, of course, there are some things that can remain unsaid. My queen won't be able to come. Really? Why are you pretending you had no idea when you already knew? Opens. Is she very busy? She should take care not to exert herself. Stan. Actually, there was quite a commotion in the Eastern Empire. It was discovered that an abortion drug had been mixed into the food of the Emperor Sovieshu's mistress, which caused quite a stir. Was Her Majesty busy because of that? Well, this is something that most of the Eastern Empire's nobles aren't aware of, and even those who know the truth keep quiet about it. There's a rumor that the one who gave the mistress the drug was Empress Navier's older brother. Fortunately, the person who ingested the drug and her baby are fine, but what about Her Majesty? Did Emperor Sovieshu treat the Empress in a disrespectful way again? I'm not sure about that, as things had calmed down when I arrived. Despite all of that, she'd hid it from me in case I would worry. Isn't it more likely she didn't mention it because it's embarrassing for the Imperial family? This won't do. He's like grabbing stuff. I need you to deliver one more letter. It's for Ergi this time. You want me to go to the Eastern Empire again? You're the fastest way to pass on my message. The Remarried Empress. Episode 50. The small ballroom at the Imperial Palace of the Eastern Empire. After Rashta's condition improved, Sovieshu hosted a party to cheer Rashta up. Although it was meant to be small, quite a number of people came, as it was a party hosted by the Imperial family, and you didn't need an invitation to attend. Ugh, I keep stuttering right there. This young lady recently moved to the capital from a provincial area far away. She's such fun and excellent company, so I really wanted to introduce her to you.
Labetty?
I believe Labetty is Viscount, what's his name? Her former slave owner daughter, I believe. Why did I forget his name? It's Viscount something. Something with a V. It's nice to meet you. Pardon me. There's a family emergency. Wait. Let go of me. I said let go. Pardon me. Oh my. It seemed it was really urgent. Yes. How could she make me face Labetty on purpose and act like nothing was wrong? Rashta. Father told me that I should pretend not to know you, but I thought I should at least tell you about Ian. Ian? That's your son's name. Are you trying to blackmail me right now? It's not like that. You're telling me this even though you know that I'm His Majesty's
mistress, but you still want to pretend you're not blackmailing me?
I heard that you bought a mansion in the capital for Ian. So that's what Viscount Loteshu told him.
Well, I suppose he didn't want to tell his children that he blackmailed me to get it.
There you go. Viscount Loteshu. Okay.
So?
I'm sorry for what I did. I was just too scared back then. You had nothing to lose, but that wasn't the case for me. To throw everything away and choose you was...
I don't want to talk about the past. I also have a lot to lose now. I'm sure you understand since you felt the same way before. You said your father told you that you should pretend not to know me. Do as he says. And tell that rude sister of yours to behave herself.
That's pretty cold.
I can't believe I was able to tell off someone that I used to call young master like that. But boom, boom. It feels incredible.
That's such a menacing look though. Like that's kind of scary.
But I regret reacting so heartlessly towards the baby. Huh? What a tenacious son of a bitch.
Duke Ergi? Did you receive some bad news?
You were cursing.
No, I was just worried that my friend lost his senses.
What?
Just pretend you didn't hear that. What brings you here tonight? You said that Viscount Loteshu ordered that bastard called Alan to pretend he doesn't know you? That means the Viscount also wants things to be as they are now. He'll keep his children in check.
That has to be the case, right?
Is that what you came here to discuss?
Did you know that someone put an abortion drug in my food?
I think everybody must have heard about that by now. I also heard that thankfully there were no serious problems. Is that not true?
It's true, but a few days before that happened, I promised myself that I would keep myself and my baby safe on my own.
That's a good decision.
The problem is, as soon as I promised myself that, I discovered that I had been ingesting abortion drugs. I'm scared that things like this will keep happening to me. Do you have any idea how I can avoid that?
There are two ways.
Two?
One way is asking the Emperor for his help. You don't have to handle it yourself. Just keep telling him that you're scared. He'll do anything for you.
What's the other way?
Get rid of anyone who might attack you before they strike.
But my enemy is higher social standing, has more power, and has a lot of money. Will I really be able to get rid of her?
Her? Are you talking about the Empress?
At first, I wanted to become closer to her. Everyone praises her, so I thought that she would love and care for me too. But now, I hate her. She scares me.
The only one way you can stop the Empress from attacking you, you need to become the Empress. Now the whole circle from the very beginning of episode 1 to like now, we now see the ploy. We see it. To be continued. The way he kind of like suggested that, it kind of like, I feel like that's part of Prince or now King Henry's idea. Like, hey, you need to figure out how to dethrone the Empress so she can be mine kind of deal. So, oh my god, on to the next episode. There's only one way you can stop the Empress from attacking you. You need to become the Empress. Dun dun dun.
You can't be serious.
That is pretty terrifying. Like, you can get your head you can get beheaded for doing that, you know? It's not hard, my lady. Empresses change surprisingly frequently.
But I wasn't born a noble.
You can reinvent your ancestry. Picture this. Your parents have spent years looking for their lost child. Then after you became the mistress of the emperor of the Eastern Empire, rumors of your beauty spread far and wide, so they come to see you, just in case.
That sounds like a fairy tale.
Yes, it does. That's why people will like it. Do you have any family? That's fine then. There are a number of poor nobles who can pretend to be your parents. However, people might catch on if they are from the Eastern Empire, so I can introduce you to nobles from my kingdom.
Fake parents? If this is easy to change my social status, then why didn't His Majesty help me?
My lady. Can't do it.
Sorry.
I made it sound easy, but it's actually quite risky. But I feel that this is the only way you can protect yourself from the Empress. What do you think? Do you want to give it a try?
Yes, I do.
All right, there's something you must promise me in return. Don't agree to a paternity test, no matter who tries to persuade you to do it, because then the truth will be revealed.
I promise.
All right then. What happens after I reinvent my parentage? Wait, what happens after I reinvent my parentage? It's not like I will become an empress simply because I become a noble woman. You mentioned you couldn't read. Do you know how to now?
I can read simple books now, and I can write.
Keep studying, and you'll need to take various classes.
Classes?
Why? Do you hate studying?
No, it's just... It doesn't feel like a very effective way to go on the offensive.
It can't be helped. Empress Navier has a peerless reputation and is known far and wide.
Ugh. She's just good at putting up a front.
It doesn't matter if she's putting on a front or not. There will be consequences if you attack her outright. So your priority is to make people's opinion of you as positive as their opinion of the Empress. You need to reach a point when you can face her as an equal.
But the nobles look down on me. It's clear they are biased against me. Will they change their ways just because I studied a little?
Not really. So you have to appeal to the commoners instead. You know that half of the council members are commoners, right? Make them supporters.
How?
The Empress is very popular, but she's the very embodiment of a noble.
She looks so cute in this outfit, though.
After all, she was born into a prestigious noble family, and she became engaged to the crown prince at an early age. Then she became the crown princess, even before she made her debut into society. No matter how well the Empress treats the commoners, they will still feel there is an invisible wall between her and them. And you can take advantage of that. Because you were born a commoner like them. You can make yourself look like someone who understands them and sympathizes with their needs. The Remarried Empress, episode 51. It will take a while for the rumors to completely disappear. Still, it's fortunate that Lord Allen took his sister away before things got out of hand. That's not the problem. The nobles look down on Rashta too much. There are indeed some nobles that look down on Rashta for being born a commoner, but the majority think that she's a lovely and cute mistress. Because it's hard to find someone so innocent in polite society. That might be a complete compliment to an ordinary noble woman, but Rashta is going to be the mother of my child. The nobles need to find her somewhat intimidating. That's true. If they did, then they wouldn't have poked fun at her like that. I have something to report to you about Viscount Lateshu. Some suspicious people have been spotted on his estate asking about Rashta. I suppose they want to know whether Rashta is really a slave or not. Find out who's behind it. Yes, Your Majesty. he might end up finding out about Rashta's baby. So, whoa. Shut. Your Majesty. Lady Rashta told me this morning that she wanted to learn palace etiquette for nobles. Etiquette for nobles. I think it's because of the incident that Count Vernier mentioned. I see. Make sure she is taught by the very best teacher you can find. I'm worried that Rashta's charm may fade as a result. She'll simply be able to act with a little more propriety. Even a 10-year-old can start to act like an adult noble after taking classes on etiquette. It'll be the same for Rashta. I did what you asked me, Your Majesty. Alashute showed Miss Labetty to the woman in the front of everyone. You did well, Laura. What kind of person was Labetty? She seemed like the friendly type, and she hasn't been presented at court yet as a debutante. Alashute seems to have taken a liking to her. I see. Then can you ask Miss Alashute to do one more thing?
Just say the word, Your Majesty.
I thought you wanted to avoid getting involved with her as much as possible, but it appears you have changed your mind. We can no longer continue to ignore each other. I'll need to draw a line between us. A few days afterwards, the delegation going to the Western Kingdom left for the coronation. It would have been nice to see you, as it will be harder to meet you from now on. But all I can do is assume that good news from your kingdom means that you are doing well. Your Majesty. Huh? Sword. It's been a while since we last met. I wanted to visit, but I could never seem to find the right opportunity to see you. I see. Can we take a walk together? Just while we are both going to the same way. Step. What do you think of Lady Rashta, Your Majesty? I think of her as any empress would think of most mistresses. My word, you're quite good at dodging questions. Was there a particular answer you were looking for? And quite the retort, too. If you have something to say, let's hear it. Bullying the weak is shameful behavior, Your Majesty. He's talking about Rashta. I won't provoke her first. But if someone comes at me with a knife, I'm not going to let them stab me just because they're weaker than me. If you run into a weak opponent, are you going to throw away your weapon, tie your hands behind your back and let them attack you? Can you hit me once? I want to feel a little less guilty. Guilty about what? This is where our paths diverge. That's very important to kind of remember there. We'll have to go our separate ways. Step. Goodbye. Step. To be continued. Alright guys, that is a wrap. It's not a huge cliffhanger, but let me tell you, these 3 episodes is very important to remember, because this is how it all transpired. This is how it all happened from this moment right here. And the fact that we're witnessing Ergi kind of manipulating Rashta, playing puppet with her. From, of course, he got the idea from Prince Henry, aka now about to be a king, King Henry, to kind of dethrone the Empress, and in a way to give Prince Henry an opportunity to marry her in a good way, so this is where it all started. This is what we read in episode 1, and is now starting to become a huge circle. So I cannot wait. Tune in next week for the following episode, I believe 52, 53, and 54. I'll see you guys next time. Please feel free to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave some amazing comments. I love reading them. Have an amazing week, you guys. I'll see you guys next time.